Hello, my soul tribe. Welcome to my channel. I'm CelesT Tarot, and this is going to be your birthday spread for Libra. So, sorry about that. I am getting work done around my crib, but I don't know. I just been feeling like right after y'all season, I was partying, like chilling, kicking it, and feeling a sense of like just going. I was on the move. I was on the move, and then things just got real ghetto for Scorpio season. So, yeah. So I'm looking at this. This is like the vibe. This is the vibe for y'all season, like all day, every day. But I had a lot of things going on. That's like a eyeshadow palette. It's really cute too. Let me show y'all. I decided to go live for y'all birthday because, yeah, something just said go live, so I'm just usually obedient. I go with how I feel. Check this out. Isn't that cute? That's what it looks like in the inside. Ooh. So I was channeling for you guys' birthday spread. A lot of Usher, like his whole Confessions album, and I was feeling like maybe some of you guys are on trial dealing with the legal system. I was in trial dealing with the legal system. I was dealing with somebody who's a Libra who was dealing with the legal system. So it was a lot of legal systeming going on for y'all birthday. Um, yeah. And a girl is thirsty. So I'm gonna do Rumi Oracle is gonna be your oracle deck, because I'm feeling like I'm ready. Like that's another song I was channeling right before I did y'all read. Because I was trying to decide if I was gonna do it, and something was like do it. So once I get that nudge to do it, then I be obedient like that. Kind of like I don't feel the necessity around the time frame. It's usually towards the end of the month when I've been feeling nudges to like do these readings. But for you guys, it kind of was like, yeah, let's let Scorpio season go through a little bit, because, yeah, it got real ghetto real quick. It was a lot. So, yeah, I was pretty busy. But Alicia Keys, I'm Ready. Usher Confessions album. The whole album. Um, There Goes My Baby. Okay, so I don't know what you guys got going on. It's a lot of energies. It's a lot of energies going on. I'm also gonna do, I was pulled to do Beautiful Creatures Tarot and the Hoodoo Tarot. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the Hoodoo Tarot, and while I'm starting off, I'm gonna talk. But I am hearing that there goes my baby. Ooh, girl, look at you. You don't know how good it feels to call you my girl. There goes my baby. Loving everything you do. Ooh, girl, look at you. That's what I was hearing. That just kept playing. And then, let's see. So, story time. If I hear another song. Oh, something already flipped over. Dang. Can I even start? Y'all throwing the cards out. Like, hurry up, girl. All right. So, I got 2 and 1. So, I'm going to leave it exactly as is. I'm going to leave it how it flipped over. You guys' spread is like the same but different. The way everything's coming out. Okay. So the first cards that jumped out, I shuffled on the deck. I'm going to hold them up. Now I can't even pick them up. Ain't that about something? This is what I'm talking about. So, story time. I went to New Orleans for Libra season because Chris Brown, Summer Walker, Janae Aiko, and Bryson Tiller was performing for Chris Brown's concert. So I opted to do it in NOLA instead of where I am at in Chicago because it's way cheaper. And yeah, so I just opted to do it there. So I went to, that's why I'm doing the Hoodoo Tarot spread, because I did the whole NOLA situation. And somebody said, is it pink? I don't know what's supposed to be pink. um the Hoodoo Tarot spread ain't pink. The Rumi Oracle is purple, I believe. And somebody said pistol grip your shotgun. See, I was definitely talking about legal stuff. I would say you talk about shotguns, you might want to consider getting you some legal advice. If where you at they legal, good for you. I don't know about pistol gripping a shotgun because it's a shotgun, so there's a different way that you grip it, but that's for those who know, for those who into that, who's into firearms. I definitely am. I don't have any problem with it. They're tools. But anyway, for those who didn't know, yes, females do know about firearms. So, starting off, the cards that flipped over for Libra, this is from the Hoodoo Tarot spread because, like I said, this I went to New Orleans, so I felt like this spread was like more appropriate. So I got the Five of Cups, and I got the Big Hermit, which is the Magician card. Okay, so Five of Cups is dun 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 Scorpio energy, and we have the Magician card, which is Gemini energy. So some of you guys could be dealing with Scorpio or a magician, or a magician. You could be dealing with a magician. You could be dealing with a Gemini. You could be dealing with them at the same time. That's not my business. You do whatever you do. But yeah, some of you guys could be dealing with, somebody said come, you could be dealing with Scorpio or Gemini, okay? Either one you're dealing with. Some of you could have some regrets regarding a Scorpio. You could have dealt with the Scorpio in the winter time, maybe more so around winter season, which usually encompasses Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. We tend to see a break in that more so around Pisces and Aries season. No more snow, possibly, depending on where you are in the region. And as far as the Magician, so it looks here like it's around, kind of like around the same time. If you look, I just noticed this. The Magician one in there, it says power. You can't really see it, but like, it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a magician-y thing. Like, you can only see it when you're looking dead first at the card. But it literally, in that wand, spells out power. So, some of you guys could be tapping into your power, seeking to manifest something. Maybe there is like this a similar scene here. So, you see the same winter time. Oops. Okay, maybe it says not. But it has the same, you see that basket here? So it has the same wintertime theme song here. So, yeah, you see that? Like, so maybe around the same time you ended a relationship with both a Gemini and a Scorpio. And it's giving you these like memory winter vibes type of thing. But that is on the left side of the top. Okay, so that would be something that's logical on the left brain area, something that you kind of knew or figured might happen. I see baskets here. You did your best. You tried to weave the situation together, tried to make it work out. There's spilled baskets in both of these cards. So maybe you could be crying over spilled milk about a manifestation that didn't go right, didn't work out with either or both of them at the same time. Maybe they found out about each other. Not my business. So yeah, that could be that left brain side. Let's go right brain then. We got Father Sam's Temperance. Okay, maybe some of you guys could be setting up to entertain Sagittarius. This is fire sign energy. That was air and water. Now we got fire over here. So that's at least three of the elements. I don't know what y'all got going on. You guys are definitely an air sign. So, Father Sims, card number 14 is the like Sagittarius card, the Temperance card. I could actually read these cards to you guys. You guys don't know what they are, but I wasn't really thinking about that. Just the like major arcana. So like Black Herman, who these people were. I believe they do have some kind of like history about them. So I'm gonna be a little bit more thorough. That's the free man. He comes right after the free man. Free man. So Black Herman, the magician. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. So the Black Herman is dressed in a tux. He holds a stick to the sky that says power. And I've read this before, and I don't know why I just now saw that. So anyway, yeah, that's crazy. Black Herman was the most famous Negro magician in the history of the United States. So some of you guys could be watching from the United States. Who knows? He adopted the name Black Herman to pay homage to two fellow black magicians he admired, Prince Herman and Alonzo Herman. Black Herman's characteristic personality, illusions, and resurrections after being buried alive made him a national sensation. Wow, he was buried alive. They don't do magic tricks like that no more. He also made a living selling tonics, mail order occult courses, books, pamphlets, and talismans that were designed to protect its wearers from white supremacy. Oh, we can use some of those. We need us some Black Hermans again. Okay. One of the most interesting aspects of Benjamin Rucker was how he used his platform as an entertainer and hoodoo man to promote his militant black nationalist political beliefs. Wow, okay. So he relocated to Harlem. He claimed he was born in the dark jungles of Africa. He was apprentice of Zulu witch doctors. And actually a Virginia native who migrated north in search of greater opportunities. Okay, he had self-confidence and a strong will to succeed. That was the magic that made him a legend. So let's go to Father Sims. Wow. Should start reading these cards. Father Sims, just Sagittarius, temperance energy. Who gives the ibis wisdom or gives the rooster understanding? Because there is a rooster in this card, okay? There's the rooster right there. Looks kind of like a turkey, though. No, it's a rooster. It definitely is. And he's pouring water on it. Yeah, there's the water in the cups. And he's pouring it. It kind of looks like two machetes, though. When I first saw this card, I was like, oh my God, what is he doing? And then it's all the red. And I was kind of like, is this really temperance? But yeah, it's temperance. It's definitely temperance. Okay, those are 2 cups of water that he's pouring on this rooster. Okay. Father Sims is dressed in purple satin robe in which he liked to work. The rooster represents him, and the 2 streams of water represents his baptism as a 2-headed doctor, a hoodoo that does good and bad work. He was nicknamed the Frizzly Rooster, and he was a preacher and root worker from New Orleans. So story time, I just got back from New Orleans, and I definitely went during your birthday season. They call him the Frizzly Rooster because many people kept at least one chicken in the backyard for the sole purpose of scratching up any roots that may have been placed there by an enemy. He had a reputation for being able to effectively place or lift curses and read anyone. Father Sims was a bit eccentric and was comfortable doing good or bad workings. He gave sermons at Myrtle Ref Hall, and that's where his most famous student, Zora Neale Hurston, made his acquaintance. He was given the name the boss of candles and finally taught the deeper mysteries. It's common misconception that root work is never an initiatic system, because while it is the case for many, initiations are not unheard of. What else? So it's asking you to review your position regarding your inquiry. If you take an extreme or one-sided position, Now's the time to consider things from a more balanced perspective. Things don't have to be black and white, so don't force it to be. So if you've been asked to compromise or cooperate but you feel resistant, this card is a good sign you haven't considered all the aspects of the situation. Okay? So, right side, your creative side is telling you to be more temperance. It's telling you to be more fair, more balanced about a situation. But Father Sims does do good and bad work. So, depending on what side you decide on, as above, so below is what I said. So, we're finishing up above. We're gonna go below. So in your mind, you're thinking of the free man. So some of you guys, this is Aquarius energy, the Fool card. So let me go ahead because I just said the free man. Y'all heard me, and literally the card popped right out in the mind space. So some of you guys could be facing some legal issues. Somebody's on here talking about firearms. We don't know. They say no lo say. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Hola, Alejandra dice. A man is walking away from the tomb of Joshua John Ward of Georgetown County, South Carolina. Ward was the largest American slaveholder, dubbed the king of the rice planters. This man is carrying a mason jar. Oop, y'all haven't even seen it. Filled with dirt. Who is this young man? Did he know Ward personally? Was he risk being prosecuted for trespassing or witchcraft? Does he have a purpose at all, or is the man just plain crazy? Freedom, is it a state of mind, a state of being, or is it both? The free man doesn't think about it any more than a fish contemplates water. And I definitely was thirsty. The free man was probably deep prior to the outset of his journey into the unknown, unfathomable, unpredictable. Yeah, and no one really knows the free man. He's tired of being so deep, so calculated, so restricted, so dead. He has conversed with talented acquaintances, heard many people say one day regarding their dreams, and heard way too few 2 days. He wouldn't have had the wisdom to know that the concept of safety is an illusion anyway. So he is the person that tells you to free your mind space, because safety is an illusion anyway. So I mean, if you can either exist with the regrets, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas on the logical side, about failed attempts to manifest your destiny, or you can have another perspective on the creative side and try to balance things out in a different way. And in the mind space right now, a lot of you guys are trying to free your mind space, clear out some of that mental clutter. That's a good thing. So there you go. That is what you're being told to do. Embody some of that Aquarius eclectic energy. I like that he has a mason jar, because Aquarius are the water bearers. It could be a mason jar of water. It could be a mason jar of alcohol. I'm drinking water. I don't know what you guys were drinking for your birthday season, but whatever you were drinking, right now your energy is saying free your mind. Maybe a lot of you guys are going through the ghetto-ness of this season that's popping up. A lot of things are popping up at once. So, but a lot of things are actually clearing out. So I would say you guys have that balance of both, the good and the bad. It can get ugly, so make sure you be very cautious about your choices going forward. So let's go below. We're going to start on the right this time. Nine of Baskets, wish fulfillment. Pisces energy talks about being self-sufficient, independent, emotionally secure, emotionally independent, knowing what you want, who you are, where you're going, things that make you happy, surrounding yourself with people, places, and things that meets your needs, your necessities, feeds you. So that is great at the bottom. So that's right under Father Sims. On the left side, we have Big Mama. Okay, so Big Mama, that is the Sun card, happiness, wish fulfillment. We're going to read her because she coming with that cornbread, okay? So some of you guys could be eating you some red beans and rice and cornbread. That sounds so amazing. I don't even know why I said all of that. That is more fire energy. That's Leo energy. But wow, I'm just like, cornbread. I'm still on cornbread. Cornbread and collard greens. That is the thing. Let's see. Big Mama. All right. I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and now I am sure dwells in you as well. Second Timothy verse 1, chapter 5. Or is it, yeah, one, yeah, I believe it's one in the chapter. It could be chapter 1 verses 5. Yeah, like that. Okay, so there was like a little bit of distortion there. So some of you guys could be feeling a little distorted, feeling a little off when it comes to like, because to me, my theme this week, because I always have a weekly theme. And I've been doing research. Maybe some of you guys could be doing religious research. But my theme was like walking your talk as above, so below. So maybe some of you guys are dealing with that. Like on the one hand, like at the bottom, you're like operating in the physicality, like everything's all right, like you're cool, you're 3D, you're balanced, like you're very 3D right now when it comes to your happiness, but it's not really reaching up to your mental logical space because you're like, logically, why am I so happy? I shouldn't be. So if that's not, that emotion's not adding up, like mentally you're feeling this emotion, but physically you're doing opposite or doing things that just make you happy just to get by, that could be a problem. So that was my theme of being more consistent with like how you feel and operating that. It may hurt in the long run. It'll do you better, because would you rather live in regrets and then try to people please, or would you rather nine of cups yourself, please yourself, rather than trying to please everybody else, because everybody else is always going to please themselves at the end of the day. So you can sit up there and try to please them all you want. It's not gonna happen. They'll just get you to do what they want you to do at that time, and then when you start complaining about it later, it's like, oh well, you accepted it for so long, so who's to blame? Technically, it really is you. Okay, so Big Mama's holding a plate of homemade cornbread with her sun shining brightly behind her. With the sun shining, she wears a skeleton key as a necklace to symbolize her all-encompassing wisdom. So she does have a skeleton key on there. I just noticed that. Big Mama is a term of endearment for the matriarch of one's family. It's an acknowledgement of her wisdom, strength, authority, leadership, skills, and ability to nurture multiple generations. Traditionally, all elders of both genders were to be respected for these qualities, but no one is bigger than Big Mama. As the caregiver of so many children and the transmitter of family history, lore, and spirituality, she is the family's jewel and guiding light. Today, Big Mama's role in many families is not as prominent as it used to be before desegregation, as Black Americans increasingly integrated with ethnic groups that were more youth-oriented and patriarchal. The ethical hierarchical and the conceptual foundation of the community started to shift. Also adding to this alteration of thought was the movement away from the church. It was there that the values of their forebears were reinforced, celebrated, and discussed. Often it is your Big Mama or someone else's that you know well or kin to, whom also held the prestigious title of Mother of the Church. Like the sun, the matriarch is a warm, centralized force without whom growth would be impossible. So no matter how dark it is now, the light is coming and everything's going to be all right. So everything's going to be all right. So you guys are going to be okay. You're going to be just fine. So that's a good sign in the 3D. It is a positive affirmation for whatever you're going through mentally, like free your mind, balance yourself. Everything's going to work out. Now let's get to the sacral chakra, middle sign. We have the garden. That's the world card. So it's like closing out a chapter, finishing everything up. That's great news. So some of you guys are closing that chapter out when it comes to who you're sharing your sacral energy with. That is a great sign, because maybe you're finally learning wisdom. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. Isaiah 58:11. A woman is happily watering her garden. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, most Americans were farmers by trade. People took great pride in knowing that the produce that fed and cured their families was grown by their own hands. For people with more resources, gardening eventually became a relaxing leisure activity that allowed them to connect with nature or express themselves creatively. Either way, whether for utilitarian or recreational purposes, the rule for a successful harvest doesn't change, which is this: mind your crops. You successfully taking care of business. Time to reap all the goodness you've sown. Count your blessings. If your career relates to gossip or rumors, the garden could be trying to tell you to mind your own business. It's reminding you of how much better the world would be if everyone focused on their own affairs. Okay? Instead of being concerned about what others are doing and how they're doing it. So mind your business, okay? And other people need to mind their business about what's going on with your. Maybe some people are very curious about what you're doing with your, down there parts, your sacred chakra, your creativity energy. You could be minding your garden. They need to mind their business, and that's that. So there's nothing else that needs to be said about that. So let's go to the right hand. Two of baskets, partnerships, relationships, connections. That is Cancer energy. So some of you guys could be dealing with that, or have that in your chart. You could be dealing with any of these signs that have it in your chart. Some of you guys could be thinking about an Aquarius. Could have broken up with a Gemini and a Scorpio. Could be creatively dealing with a Sagittarius, and could be, on another hand, having a Cancer in your back pocket or so. Who knows? But this talks about like soulmate connections, relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be like very loving friendships, associationships, things that serve your highest good, where you and someone else see eye to eye, or on the same, page, like kind of like equals out. Complementary relationships, things of that nature. Because as you can see, they're both bringing something different. I believe it's one of them's bringing greens, one of them bringing turnips, but you put them together and they make a nice, hearty, hefty meal that is soul food for the soul. So maybe some of you guys could be wanting or considering this type of relationship, something more creative, something more loving, stepping more into your water emotional space. Because we got a lot of fire here right now. Well, fire and water. We got two water signs, Cancer and Scorpio. Two fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius. Oh, actually, we got two airs, Aquarius and Gemini. So, hey, it's almost like we got everything here on the board. So, there we go. We also have Gula Jack. This is the Hangman, Pisces energy. Pop right out like, hello. You saw me, 9 of Cups. So some of you guys could be hung up, having a higher perspective on Pisces. They could be giving you a higher perspective on how to look at things. So let's read that card. Just funny because it's right after your card, but your card didn't even come out for you. And we're supposed to be in Libra's reading, and everybody else is popping out. The Gula Jack. Hangman. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Gula Jack has a noose around his neck, but his face is serene. He has a Congo cosmogram as his third eye. Okay. Gula Jack was a Bankongo prisoner of war who was sold into slavery in Zanzibar. He was eventually sent to Charleston, South Carolina, purchased by a man named Paul Pritchard. Gula Jack had a reputation as a powerful root worker with a particular talent for making protective amulets. This may have been one of the reasons Telemach, aka Denmark Vesey, recruited him to plan a revolt consisting of only African-born men against the colonists. Gula Jack instructed the rebels to eat a special diet of corn and peanuts the day of the attack, and provided them with crab claws as a talisman to keep them safe. He also threatened to put the root on any of the slaves who spoke of the plan. Unfortunately, the plan was betrayed and the revolt was suppressed. All the plotters, including Gojek, were sentenced to death, but not before he used mysterious hand gestures, presumably to curse all of their oppressors. He was hanged on July 2nd, 1822. Wow, for those what was that again? Crab claws. So he passed away in cancer season. So you see the synchronicity, 7/2/1822. So 7/2/1822. So that could be synchronistic for somebody. I wouldn't say necessarily play that because somebody lost their life, but he seems to kind of know what was going on, believe that it was possibly necessary. He has some more spiritual insight. We also got Proverbs 16:9 here, so those are different numbers. Nobody knows when he was born, question mark. So yeah, very mysterious. Pisces are very mysterious. So some of you guys could be trying to understand a Pisces. Um, you could be thinking more into it or acting more into it because it's on the left side. So let's see what's in the heart space, okay, at the end. 5 of Wands, okay, so 5 of Sticks. This is Leo's energy, talks about fight, competition, being competitive, going back and forth. It's also, competition can be good and healthy, but that's when it's healthy. When you're fighting, bickering, arguing, competing over resources, it indicates that you operate in a lack mentality mindset, and therefore there's not enough resources to go around. So when you operate like that, you have to know that what you put out is what you're going to get back. So what how you operate in your heart space is how far you can get. If you're always fighting and competing with other people, any other people for resources you feel like are limited, then once you get that resource, you have to understand that if somebody else fights you and takes it from you, then that's fair game because the resource by your own admission was limited. So if you're operating limitedly in your mind and you're fighting over something that you feel is limited, then you can't be upset if that limited resources is then taken from you because that's the natural law of the universe. What you put out is what you get back. So if you're operating off of this in your heart space, you will not get ahead because all it is just fighting and bickering. You can't function. You can't manifest anything. You can't move forward because this is the energy in your heart space. So a lot of you guys need to do some heart work. You need to clear out this competitive mindset of feeling like you are, I don't know, competing for resources, fighting, gossiping, arguing, slandering other people's names, tit for tat, going all back and forth. All of them are carrying the same kind of stick. It's a stick covered in a snake. So you get bit by the snake, nobody's gonna win. Everybody's gonna be fired up and it's gonna get you nowhere fast, especially if this is in the heart space. So I'm gonna look at the bottom of the deck. 8 of Wands talks about communication. That is Sagittarius energy, fast moving communication. um it's all going into a tree, if you can see it here. Look at the scenery. So it's like, but it's all dry, it's all fiery, and it's all quick, fast moving action. Sagittarius energy is like action oriented. So a lot of it's going to be pretty fast moving, either action, like pretty much action oriented, either through communications, text, moving around, like, um, location wise, like, oh, I'm about to come see you, and then there is like a quick arrival, quick text message, phone calls. So that is the 8 of Wands is communication, fast moving communication because it's fire, but it's like fired up, passionate communication. So a lot of you guys are getting these messages. And these messages could be what's important for you to understand something. You could be needing to communicate with the Sagittarius because it actually came out right by the Sagittarius, directed at the Sagittarius card. That fast moving communication is coming back at you, and you need to moderate something, or maybe they need to moderate or something with you. Maybe they want to communicate with you. Maybe you want to communicate with them. But Either way, these wands are also going into a tree. Tree symbolize to me knowledge and wisdom, earth energy, groundingness. We did leave, you guys are in between Scorpio and Virgo season. So it can be like maybe communication about grounding yourself, maybe communication about some kind of foundation, because the wands are going all the way from the top to the bottom of the tree. So regardless, at the top is them bones judgment. So that's finally your energy waking up and awakening. That's card number 20. So finally your energy pops out with the judgment card. So making good decisions, making good judgment, and it's actually the card that's in the front of the book. Okay. So you guys, that was another reason why I chose this. I think it was meant. That's why you got to be obedient. So what is this judgment card? Which is her with her hand over her mouth. Them bones is called. Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. John 7:24. A woman puts her hand over her mouth and shock it what the bones on the table reveal to her. Astrogalamancy, meaning divination, uses bones or dice, was practiced by indigenous American and African people. Divination with bones requires the reader to associate different meanings with each bone based on where and how they land. The bones of chickens and cats were the most commonly used, but other small and medium-sized animals were also acceptable. Contrary to popular belief, the choice of which animal to use was strictly up to each individual root worker. A set of dumb bones could include not only the remains of an animal, but also other items such as keys, seashells, and crystals. Like other forms of divination, all the items in a reader's set had clear associations, but it's a reader's innate talent that determines accuracy. When dumb bones arrive in a reading, you are being reminded that it's time to focus on what you need rather than what you want. Most likely you will have to make some tough choices, but if you're willing to put your ego aside and do what you have to do, the best possible outcome is guaranteed. Dumb bones may be reminding you that people are going to talk about you no matter what you do. So make sure you remain in alignment with your goals, dreams, and aspirations. Acknowledge that no one escapes judgment, even if the judge is oneself. Dumb bones could also indicate that it's time for a more in-depth reading concerning a matter of great importance. This reading will provide relief and solutions to your problems. Okay, so I'm sure you guys, that's pretty straightforward. You know what that's all about. We're next going to go into the Oracle. I'm doing Rumi Oracle, as I mentioned before. So, we're going to pull 3 cards. Alright. Because you guys got some heart space work. 5 of Wands. Leo energy. You could be fighting with a Leo. Maybe they made you happy at first and now you're pissed off all the time. Think you love, one minute you love them, one minute you hate them. That's not love though. That's toxic. It's all get up. So you need to make some serious decisions because we make love, not war. Don't know how people associate them as the same thing, but start off Sacred Phoenix Heart, card number 21. Sacred Phoenix Heart is your oracle. Okay, card number 21. It's really pretty too. But that's almost like the world card. So that's how I'm looking at it. Sacred Phoenix Heart. Under the cover of blood, love veils many rose gardens. And honestly, you guys didn't see this, but I am burning rose incense. That is crazy. So it was time. See? I'm burning rose incense. So for you guys' reading. Under the cover of blood, love veils many rose gardens. In total faith, love tenderly guides every lover to a garden of the heart. Reason says the world is limited in 6 directions. There is no way out, love says. There is a way, and I have traveled it many times. So it talks about how I adore your defiant, rebellious heart. It knows that what for the mind is an end is for the heart simply another match to ignite the sacred flames. It eats of love until it is filled and then becomes hungry again and eats some more. And again and again. It eats the love until it is so full it must simply explode into a sacred fire of passion. It bursts incapable of sustaining old okay, consciousness and the expanse of blessings unlimited, lavished upon it through the great beloved's affection. It would be like attempting to fit an ocean in a teacup, so it does not. It bursts forth like a dying star into spectacular radiance only to be reborn again, new and hungry for the next feeding frenzy in love's great banquet. How I adore your defiant, spectacular heart. So love guides us through travails that seem improbable, if not impossible. It does not shy away from any challenge, from any cause. It cannot. It's just love's way. Love says to us there's always another way. You are receiving this guidance now. Perhaps you are scratching your head or in deepest despair because you appear to have met a dead end, a frowning no, or a dismissive laugh upon your quest to bring love alive. So then, do you choose to believe in love or in the death of sorts your heart faces? Your heart shall rally. I choose death because it is the portal to new life, and so it is wise, you see, but you must be brave. To be burned in love, by love, for love will involve endurance of pain, but it will also place it in context. It is the shorter pain that is not compounded by erroneous thinking. That pain comes and goes quite quickly when you realize that love is simply playfully smacking your wrist and saying, "Not that way, beloved. There are great pitfalls on that path. Come take this one where there should be wine and dancing." So you are guided to accept the closed doors, the death, the pain, and to let it become tender for your fire. Cry whenever tears need to be cried so your tinder can be dry and ready to create the sparks your heart needs. Okay, so that's kind of like that closing a chapter energy. But love will spark again. So all is not lost, Endings bring new beginnings. Okay, the courage of your love, 38. The courage of your love. So let's read that. The courage of your love. Love is without reason. Rationality is like a cane. Judgment needs a cane because it is blind. When love arrives, thought dies in its shadow. Love is the sunrise, while thought is only a flashlight. I do not bleat at you like a sheep, for to startle you from your slumber, I need to roar like a lion. You must awake, my beloved. There is no time to waste, for the wolves are circling, hungry for sacred flesh. So I shall roar mightily, and although at first you recoil in fear, soon enough you will see the wolves. You will become aware and grateful to have been thus awoken. Ah, yes, you remember that you have a precious human life to protect. You fear me no more. You thank me. You jump on my back as if you were a warrior astride a wild mount. You roar then along with me, awakening others as we cause the ground to rumble, disturbing those even in their deep slumber. You, like me, are a fierce lion, not a lamb to be led to so many slaughters. The variety of the opportunity for which is available in terrible abundance in our world. So having courage to overcome any challenges to get to the finish line in a world full of different people, different colors, nations, creeds, but different journeys. Nobody's journey is the same. Okay? And sacred convergence, card number 11. Sacred convergence. Okay. You guys' card. Winter falls upon us so spring can bring new growth. Cry the tears, allow the longing. Sadness brings surrender and a deep desire to be free. I know your heart. I hear it breaking and groaning in darkest night when you imagine yourself to be silently cast adrift in sleep. It speaks to me, that sacred heart of yours, whispering its longing and bemoaning its divine discontentment. It knows when something is amiss. It senses that something is not quite right as yet. There's a piece of the puzzle missing. Even in its tremendous gratitude for all that is, and there is much gratitude and sweet appreciation, In that precious heart of yours, there is a murmuring, a questioning. It cries out to heaven, vouchsafe me a blessing. I cannot go on. I am broken in need of your tenderness for healing. So some of you guys are healing in the sacred conversions. That's a very beautiful card. Talks about balancing your life out, fairness, your justice. Card number 11. And at the bottom of the deck, the cloak of Christ. You see that? See how beautiful that is? The cloak of Christ. It talks about being cloaked, but I'll go ahead and read it as the overall energy. But the card in the tarot spread would be the Emperor. So, in the school of humanity, when you become intimate with the Most High God, you reside on the King's throne and teach the angels the nature of the divine. My sacred brother, he who shares my heart and yours, beating as one in harmony with the great unending love, brings you the mantle of his protection. Do you imagine that there is any part of your life or your body of your soul that is outside the realm of his divine love and protection? Offer all to him, leave nothing cast aside. He and I together receive you absolutely without condition. The compassion born out of our own struggles tempers the karmic weight of divine justice. We have been through the same journey you are taking now, sweet divine soul. In oneness with the divine heart, we know of your efforts and your struggles, so what is bestowed upon you now is the restoration of forgiveness, kindness, and of mercy. Okay? So that is that. So the 3 cards from that. I did have the Beautiful Creatures Tarot deck. I feel like the messages were like pretty consistent. So, but I did pull it. So I'm going to pull it out. Probably going to pull 3 cards from the tarot to see if there's anything that needs clarification. Yeah, probably that 5 of Wands in a heart space. I don't like that. This is what it looks like, the box. Beautiful Creatures. All right. Beautiful Creatures. I'm in my office space right now. So, 3 cards. We're going to clarify, but first I want to clarify any divine guidance for the 5 of Wands. 2 cards. The Hanged One in reverse and the 5 of Cups. So it talks about unnecessary delays, being stuck, refusing to have a higher perspective, stubbornness, refusing to budge, resistance, extreme resistance. And we also have that 5 of Cups again. Regrets, ashamed, embarrassment. So somebody is standing and resisting with all of their might, the necessary changes and having another perspective, and that's what's keeping them in regrets. Because if you could look here, there's like a crow here, and it looks like it's ready to eat this young lady here, while behind her you see this moon. She has black wings, but it looks like she's being enveloped by the moon, or she's going to be swallowed by the moon, and the crows are circling, like death is circling. And this is Scorpio's energy here with Pisces energy. So you have, if you're refusing to have a higher perspective on something and you're hung up around, you're dropping all your cards is already on the table. If you can't force your will to on something, because to some degree, if you refuse to have a higher perspective, it can result in more severe punishment for yourself. You're just putting yourself more through the ringer because you're resisting something that's inevitable. Both Pisces and Scorpio are in the moon card, as well as Cancer. It talks about emotions. So if your emotions are imbalanced, you're literally just wasting your emotions for nothing. A lot of people put a lot of, I'm gonna tell you this. This energy to me is like a lot of people put a lot of time, effort, and energy trying to hang around to get somebody to feel the way that they feel about them. It's never going to be equal. They waste 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and then that person leaves them anyway. At the end of the day, what really did you get out of that? Like, if that person, either they're gonna feel the way that way for you, or they're not. Like, there's nothing else you can do about it. A lot of times being your authentic self will kind of get that out of the way a little bit sooner more than later, because otherwise you feel like you needlessly wasted your own time. And a lot of times you do, because life is short. You don't know when you're gonna go or if that person's gonna go. And if that person does go and you never got equal return in your affections, or equal return in love, I mean, at the end of the day, what does it count for? Nothing. So nothing is nothing. So that's just simple math. Okay, so I hope that simplified it, why that Five of Wands card is completely unnecessary, because at the end of the day, that person's going to do what they're going to do regardless of what you do. You could fight, scream, beg, plead, drag your feet on the floor, but if they're like they're done, they're done. So you need to decide how you want to handle this, because the crows are circling. When it's done, it's done. So that's, if you feel like love is worth fighting for, then who are you fighting? You're going to start fighting your lover, and if that results in a very disastrous situation, then what? Because they can fight you back. Because now they're looking at you not like a lover, but like an enemy, and that's too much. So, you have to find another way, have another perspective. The hangman card talks about another perspective. Maybe it's time for you to experience another type of relationship. In the meantime, if it's meant to be, it'll come back together, right? So that other perspective is like, well, you're being free because at this stage the relationship may be stagnant, toxic, stuck, but you free yourself, you go out, you live life, you experience things a little bit more, you come back, you can appreciate those things more, appreciate each other better. Sometimes it takes distance, space, because if you overwhelm and suffocate somebody, eventually, they get sick of you, and they're like, I want you to go away, and you don't understand why, because you're like, I thought we love each other, and it's like you're suffocating them. So you have to understand, like, and I feel like we're getting rid of those codependent relationships anyway, because they're not healthy. So bottom of the deck, Queen of Wands, determination. So I did talk about that determination, but it's like, focus this energy, Queen of Wands, fire energy, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries energy, and all of those I had mentioned. Focus this energy on goals, dreams, visions, entrepreneurship, like charting out a path for yourself, accomplishing something that you and only you can be proud of as a single independent woman, female, matriarch. You could build a matriarch structure in your family. You can build something that other females in your family can follow, and no one, not a man, not a woman, no one can take that away from you. But what you can't do is force your way upon other people, force your beliefs upon other people, and think that it's going to stick forever. It's not. People are going to think how they're going to think. So your best bet is to build something lasting, to build a legacy, is to be in Queen of Wands energy, using that not towards forcing, your viewpoints, your wishes, goals, desires, dreams, the fact that you're attractive or your level of attractivity onto somebody else, or being stuck up or conceited or entitled, or petty or childish or competitive for no reason, because what are you winning? Um, Focus this on entrepreneurship, on building something that other young women can benefit from, and making love, not war, being actual sisterly affection towards other women, versus trying to compete for that's resources that are already limited. Okay, because if you can't create resources, you're not a creator, you're a destroyer. Then so that kind of thing. um we got the Knight of Wands in reverse. talks about desires. So being very loose with your desires. Maybe some of you guys are going through that, healing from that. So that could play a part in it. Whatever that's your personal business, right? If you're determined to change from that, I will say, I've met women that were like promiscuous prostitutes. When I talk about that, like, or who were human trafficked, you can always change. You can always shift. It's never too late for you. So I would say, if that's what you're going through, if you're like a retired prostitute, stripper, or a streetwalker, um, the proper way to heal is to first and foremost, figure out in that Queen of Wands energy what it is that you actually want out of life. And then once you figure out what it is that you actually want out of life, meaning you and only you, don't think about nobody else, just you. Just think about you. Sit down. What is it that you want out of life? And then after you figure out what it is you actually want out of life, what are the steps that it would take for you to get there, and how long? Because you have to start planning and charting out a plan. That's that Aries energy, okay? So if you first do that without considering nobody else, just you, what is it you want? Okay, if you want to be a homeowner, how is your credit looking? Okay, do you got money saved up? Can you apply for any type of grants or any type of programs? Do you qualify? If not, how long would it take you to save that up? What type of job are you working? Could you get another job? Could you consider, if you got children, could you consider something administrative? Could you consider something entrepreneurship? Could you consider something taking a supervisor position? Do you have qualifications for that? These are things you need to chart together. And then if you do all of that, and you could be a homeowner in about 5 years. If you save up this amount of money, you'll have your down payment. How much of a down payment will you have? Did you account for inflation? It's like, these are the things that you think about for you and yourself and only you. Then that's how you could take yourself to the next level. And then in that meantime, if you meet somebody, that's great. They can always help you. They can always speed up the process, and then you can continue on towards your goals. Otherwise, if you drop everything and just do with them, that could be the reason why you end up back at square one in every single relationship, because you essentially lose yourself. Okay, so let's see if anything else. You don't want to be losing yourself in relationships. You want to be charting the path, man or female. Like, I got this goal, I got this dream, I got this vision. Queen of Wands, King of Wands are visionary energies. So, and I'm going to accomplish it. If, let's say, you like, I want to own my own salon in 2 or 3 years. I got a good 10 client customer base. Like, they call me every time, every month, them 10. Like, how you build up to those. Do you got people that you could work with? Other employees who are consistent? Will you call your girl, and will she come over to your house, do hair, and y'all do 2 heads at a time so y'all can go out? It's like, what do you have? What is your activities? What do you actually have going on, that may be something that you can chart towards the future? Or a guy, like, I want to own my own mechanic shop. Do all your friends always call you? Do they cars? Do you charge them? Do you have a garage you could work out of? Are you able to make sure that you checked into the local codes, like coding, when it comes to, like, garages and disposal of materials and things like that? Do you have guys who are willing to put money in with you? It's like, don't lose yourself in a relationship. A relationship can be a benefit to your life goals, your life purpose, your life mission, but you can't get off your path and then wonder, and then as soon as the relationship over, you wonder why you're starting over at square one. You didn't put any actual work in. You fell right off of your path and jumped into a relationship. So it might be, there's a lot of energies here that's not yours, so that might be the problem. So at the bottom of the deck, we have Ace of Cups, fondness, talks about self-love. Ultimate divine love is love of self, love of your kingdom, your temple, knowing that you're worth it and you're worthy, right? Because if you don't know that, then how are you going to receive that? You're giving, but are you getting? And then sometimes you could be being selfish, trying to get of something that somebody's not willing to give you. And you have to know how to recognize that, set healthy boundaries for yourself, which sets boundaries for other people, which gives them the space and allows them to come in, versus you trying to force or pull or something out of someone. That's the Ace of Cups in reverse, because then you spill that cup. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I got this cup of water right here, right? We say Ace of Cups, water energy. If we start fighting over this water and we going back and forth, the water starts spilling out of the cup. Eventually, let's say one of us wins and we snatch the cup out of the other hand, the water spill all over the person. It's like, whatever, I won a cup. And you go to drink the water and there ain't hardly nothing left. And you in the 5 of Cups. You crying over spilled milk, spilled water at this point. 4 of Pentacles, greed. Yep, goes back to that. Girl holding a frog. That's Capricorn energy. I can understand that. Hoarding resources, goods. It also can talk about spendthrift. It can talk about saving. It can talk about a plan. So there's good and bad of every energy. That 4 of Pentacles, greed. I heard squeezing the frog because you want to keep the frog with you or whatever because it's your favorite thing. But if you squeeze it to death, you kill it. And now you don't have the use of it either. And now it serves you no purpose either. So now you don't get it, the other person don't get it, but you're still without because you start over from square one. If that other person was a little bit more ahead in the journey than you were, guess what? They're going to be fine. You're the one that's going to be suffering double times more because you were too focused on holding on to that frog. You can't actually work holding on to a frog now, can you? But you can save this frog. Let's say this frog was a rare frog and you wanted to put it in a place where you could then convert it and sell it for something in the future. That's also Capricorn energy. How I know? I am a Capricorn. So we're definitely, this is 4 of Pentacles. This is saving your resources, we don't like to keep our money in one spot. We don't like to keep our eggs in one basket. It's like several different types. So it'll be this frog. It'll be, the 4 of Pentacles card usually has 4 pentacles or it has a bag. You don't know what's in that bag. We don't like to put all our eggs on the table. We have something over here, but it's sources of income because Earth energy is like income, resources, abundance. Okay, so it's like having several, different streams of income coming in. You're the one. Authenticity. Being authentic. This is the ultimate. That's why I picked up that deck for this card right here. Authenticity. You are your own Superman, Superwoman. Okay, you don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to look like anybody else. You don't have to act like nobody else. You can just be you. And there is somebody for you. And you have to tell yourself that you're not going to settle for anybody that's not for you. That doesn't fit you. That's not complimentary to you. Okay? Because you're the one that matters. All right? So, I think that was the message. I'm going to leave it right there. And what kept playing in my head was Alicia Keys, the I'm Ready. The part when she says, moment of honesty, someone's gotta take the lead tonight. Who's it gonna be? I'm gonna sit right here, tell you all that comes to me. If you got something to say, you should say it right now. That's the only part I can hear. Wait. You give me a feeling that I never felt before. And I deserve it. I think I deserve it. I've heard the song before, but it's like coming through little by little. And then it jumps to the chorus. I was wondering, maybe gonna make you my baby. If we do the unthinkable, would it make us look crazy? Or would it be so beautiful? Either way I'm saying, if you ask me, I'm ready. Alright, that's what I heard. So, moods. So you guys got the live reading. I will check you guys later. And that was your reading. Bye.